CTV News with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Middlesex London Health Unit officials have redeclared a Legionnaire's disease outbreak in London and say another person has died. The health unit declared the outbreak over at the beginning of the month. At that time, officials had identified 70 cases and 3 deaths related to the outbreak. They now say the likely source of the outbreak is Sofina Foods on Trafalgar Street. The death toll now sits at 4, with 94 serious pneumonia cases reported and 86 hospitalizations. According to the health unit, products from Sofina Foods are safe to consume and the bacteria are not spread by eating or drinking. The health unit says multiple cooling towers at 9 separate locations have tested positive for live Legionella bacteria, mostly in south central London. A fire at a storage facility in Strathroy is being treated as suspicious. As CTV's Sean Irvin reports, the flames and smoke drove a public warning to nearby residents.
Firefighters attempt to cool a burning piece of machinery hours after a fire broke out at Strathroy Mini Storage on York Street. The blaze was noted at 4 a.m. by an alarm company. Not long after, smoke billowed into the night sky.
There was heavy flame visible, and as I say, the guys make a hard initial attack, but it was decided because of the size of the fire and that had gotten into the interior that we were going to go defensive operations and attack the fire from the exterior.
The plume sparked a plea to area residents.
And we put it out to shut the windows and stay indoors and, don't come to the scene because of the amount of smoke, and so that's the message that was put out.
In an attempt to get to the fire, crews brought in heavy equipment to tear away at a warehouse connected to the business office. Still, the fire proved challenging to fight.
That's hence the reason that we've removed the panels from the exterior of the building and made our way in that way.
It would take over 5 hours to bring the blaze under control. Despite the loss of their office and warehouse, the business owners tell CTV News they're grateful firefighters prevented the blaze from spreading to dozens of rented storage units.
So obviously for the next couple of days there won't be business as usual, but we will reach out to all our customers once we have ability to do that and then give them an update on everything.
Strathroy police tell CTV News the fire is being treated as suspicious pending the findings of a joint investigation with fire inspectors.
It appears that the fire may have started on the exterior, but our fire prevention officer is going to be working with the Strathroy Carrot Police, and they're going to look into that further and determine that as the investigation unfolds.
Well, the damage here is significant. The owners intend to rebuild. In Strathroy, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
London police converged on a South London hotel around noon, taking at least 1 person into custody. Police focused on a unit on the south edge of the motel complex on Wellington. A police light armored vehicle was used along with the canine unit and members of the emergency response unit. Shortly after 1 this afternoon, police could be seen taking a man into custody and leading him to a police vehicle in handcuffs. Officers then used riot shields and dog catcher poles to bring a dog unit from the unit. London police say the arrest was made on behalf of Elmer Police and Elgin OPP. At this point, a reason for the arrest hasn't been identified. Police say a weapons call at Western University on Monday may have been an instance of swatting. Police in tactical gear with automatic weapons were part of a large police response to Weldon Library around 3 yesterday afternoon. Police say investigators quickly determined the call was a hoax, but continued the investigation and a search of the area out of an abundance of caution. They say the investigation remains ongoing as they try to determine the identity of the caller. Masked teens, knives, even a gun. An end-of-summer party in Chatham ended with multiple arrests. Chatham police say uninvited teens in ski masks crashed a party on Dillon Road just before 2 a.m. Saturday. Witnesses told officers knives were drawn and 1 suspect allegedly dropped a handgun. The group fled but returned minutes later, where police stepped in. Investigators say 2 17-year-olds from Chatham were arrested after drugs, a scale, and packaging materials were allegedly found in their vehicle. A third teen, a 16-year-old from Blenheim, was also arrested for assault after a partygoer was left with broken teeth. Police say other investigations into the night's violence are still underway. City Council backed down from setting a deadline for the public school board to get approval for a new high school on a property in northwest London.
The priority, which is to support 1196 Sunningdale Road West as a school site.
2 weeks ago, the Planning Committee recommended giving the Public School Board 3 years to approve a high school on the site, or the developer could build residential apartment buildings instead, but letters from the Thames Valley District School Board and the property owner warned that a deadline could jeopardize the project's ability to secure provincially funding. So Council instead approved the zoning for either a school or apartment with no timeline.
We received communication from the Director of Education saying that they are proceeding very well and that they have been working through this process with the developer and that they don't want to impede that conversation.
Despite growing pressure to be developed for residential or industrial use, prime agricultural land within the city limits will not be getting additional protection.
The urgency for us to develop a path forward that balances growth, but also with farmland stewardship.
Not only what Middlesex, but looking at Oxford, Elgin, we have a lot of areas that feed the city, but we also have to look in as well.
Councillor Skylar Frank's motion asked for a staff report about creating an agricultural offset policy in London. If a development is approved on prime agricultural land, a similar parcel of farmland elsewhere would be protected to offset the impact on local food production. However, the motion for a staff report and analysis of what other cities do failed by a single vote.
I know Councillor Frank's not asking for a budget commitment or anything like that in this motion, but ultimately that's where land trusts go, because you have to have money to buy land to then put into the trust.
Elgin OPP say a man pulled from the water at Port Stanley's Little Beach has since died. The man was discovered unresponsive in the water on Friday afternoon after suffering an apparent medical event. Beachgoers and first responders performed CPR in an effort to save the 80-year-old man. He was transported to hospital but has since been pronounced dead. A West London neighborhood says a nearby homeless encampment is making it harder for families to safely enjoy a local park. Residents have raised concerns for more than a year, but say not much has changed. Rita Ismail has the story.
Here's a perfect example right here. Oh, it's a needle wrapper right here at the entrance of the park.
Emily Bunker lives across the street from Evergreen Park. She says she no longer feels comfortable visiting the park due to an encampment set up along the riverbank.
A lot of them tend to congregate right in this area here, waiting for the services that come daily. And it's just kind of intimidating because, you know, their behavior is not predictable.
Residents have raised concerns to City Hall for more than a year. At times, the park has seen as many as a dozen tents, and similar encampments have appeared across the city.
We need to clean up our streets. It's not insensitive, it's actually compassionate to help these people and come up with a solution that's going to benefit everybody.
Ward 13 Councillor David Ferreira says there are legal roadblocks. He points to a court ruling that prevents the city from clearing encampments unless there's an alternative place for them to go.
We don't necessarily have any areas to refer anybody to. That has really kind of put the pressure on. And what are we supposed to do? I would like to see a citywide approach that has something that could immediately address the immediate issues that we have right now.
Meantime, Emily says she's worried about families and pets in the neighborhood.
There are a lot of children in this neighborhood and people walking their dogs, and you don't know what kind of paraphernalia is going to be around because they're everywhere. We need someone to take action and help these people. This is no life for a human being, and it doesn't feel like a compassionate response.
Councillor Ferreira says discussions are ongoing at City Hall in hopes of finding a policy that addresses the issue legally and humanely. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Barrie police spoke for the first time today about the disturbing results of their weeks-long investigation into the disappearances of 45-year-old William Blake Robinson and 41-year-old David Kyle Cheesequay.
Began as a missing person investigation in January of this year, was grown into one of the largest investigations Barrie police have ever had.
Charged is 52-year-old Robert Ledusser, facing gun and drug charges, as well as murder and indignity to human remains. He lived with the two men at a homeless encampment in Barrie. The investigation put to rest speculation there are more victims or other suspects. Barrie police also dismissed speculation they had a serial killer on their hands, but they said more information would come out in a court process. Ledusser has an appearance this Friday. A pair of golfers from Midwestern Ontario are getting ready to represent Canada at the Long Drive World Championships this fall in South Carolina. Scott Miller caught up with them practicing on the range today.
Dave Ammerman and Ashton Nickel are not messing around when they hit the driving range.
I'm aiming for 400 yards. That's what I'm striving to get to, and I will keep pushing until I get to it. But an average drive for me right now is in and around the 340 to 350 mark.
Ammerman and Nickel will both be representing Canada at the Ultimate Long Drive World Championships this October in South Carolina. Nickel, who's been golfing since he was 10, has always been a big hitter off the tee, but just took part in his first long drive competition last year.
Yeah, a couple buddies were just like, oh, wow, man, you can just crush that ball. You should do something with that. So I tried something, and here we are.
While the long-hitting duo have invested in special drivers to help add distance off the tee, like most sports, getting better is about practice, practice, practice.
A lot of speed training, getting your club speed faster, using, learning how to properly swing is the biggest thing that I've had to do in the last couple of years. So my swings, it's gone multiple times over from what it used to be, and so it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding.
Nickel has added a rocking motion before he hits the ball to try and up his distance, which currently sits around with 315 yards off the tee.
Just giving you some more leg power into that ball. Hip swing.
Nickel says he's just happy to be one of the 39 members of Team Canada after just a year of competing, while Ammerman, also known as the Viking on tour, hopes to improve his standing from the last 3 World Championships as he works towards joining the professional long drive ranks in the next couple of years.
I don't know if I'd call it a job. It's pretty expensive to travel around and do everything. Like, you got event entry fees, you got accommodations, travel, everything that comes with it. The pro level does pay out. Amateur level, there's no monetary prizes. It's pretty much just bragging rights and trophies and belts and stuff like that.
The longest drive in the pro ranks is 577 yards, says Ammerman. He needs to hit 400 yards first and hopes to do that when he and Nickel represent Canada at the World Championships in 2 months' time. Near Mount Forest, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Chatham Kent Council can't seem to make up its mind after flip-flopping again on how to handle a controversial encampment. After first voting to move tents farther away from homes, Council has backtracked, keeping the site in place and raising more frustration in the East End. CTV's Robert Lothian reports.
Just call it for what it is. Chatham's East End is the city's dumping ground.
For the third time in 4 weeks, frustration over Chatham's largest encampment boiling over in council chambers. A final plea to move the Grand Avenue East encampment out of sight.
They just bring junk and garbage there, and they're kind of like, it's bad. And then you get, of course, used needles and all the usual stuff and everything. So I'm seeing it grow.
After originally approving a motion to keep tents 100 meters away from a home, council walked back that decision, hearing this would eliminate all municipal properties. Instead, the limit will be 25 meters, keeping this encampment in place.
It's not perfect, and hopefully it's not permanent, and I'm just hopeful that things will move quickly and we can resolve the whole encampment issue in Chatham, Kent.
The municipality's head of legal services telling council the options are limited. Previous legal cases established a right to shelter on public land when housing options are not available.
Council's options in dealing with this difficult social issue are seriously constrained
by a number of legal cases.
Council is also funding privacy infrastructure at other potential encampment sites, and Jubenville is asking the city to explore establishing more addictions treatment options and housing resources.
After people have completed the detox, they don't necessarily have a place to go because there's a waiting list to get into treatment programs.
For Lebrec and the rest of Chatham's East End, the new reality is frustrating, but not surprising.
This is Chatham-style NIMBYism. It's the chef's kiss. It's just, they did a great job, in terms of sticking it to the East End.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Chatham.
Coming up, love is no longer a blank space for Taylor Swift. The superstar and Travis Kelce are tying the knot. Canada's main stock index finished nearly 170 points higher today, while U.S. markets also gained ground. The Dow was up 135 points, the Nasdaq climbed 95. The Canadian dollar is down slightly, just 1/100 of a cent. U.S. on commodity markets, gold climbed about $15 an ounce. Oil is down 1.55 a barrel. Canada's decision to lift most retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods is bringing relief to shoppers who could soon start seeing prices drop, particularly at the grocery store. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports from Ottawa.
Did you find everything you were looking for? Yeah.
At Cedars & Co. Food Market on Bank Street, they've had to shift away from offering American produce and goods.
We have had to transition because of the tariffs.
Back in March, the Carney government imposed counter tariffs on a long list of American goods, including coffee and tea, orange juice, tires, shoes, and electronics.
When the tariffs came in, we saw a huge rise on dry goods as well as product lines in the produce area. So from anything that came in from the United States, oranges went up significantly up in price. So we transitioned. South Africa, Argentina, Ecuador, Portugal, Morocco.
I like to know where my products come from.
With Canada set to lift tariffs September 1st, businesses and shoppers are counting on lower prices.
I would say 90% of our clients have boycotted U.S. goods, and they are relying solely on Canadian goods.
You support local businesses, Canadian businesses, and try to avoid unnecessary tariffs where they apply.
I want to support the local producers. The people who are doing all the work, I want to support them on the Canadian side.
At Capital Furniture and Mattress, owner Nadia Gadban says tariffs have hurt sales.
They've slowed down business for sure.
But come September 1st, Gadban plans to cut prices.
We are going to drop our prices back down by 15% so that we're back to the norm that we were. Because customers have noticed the sudden increase. So this is our Canadian brand.
But when it comes to mattresses, customers here also buying Canadian.
Our business has gone up 25% since the tariffs were implemented because people have stopped buying the American brand.
The price of coffee beans went up considerably the minute the tariffs hit.
Back at Cedars & Co., Dibs says she might consider U.S. goods again, but only as a last resort.
So if the produce significantly comes down in price and we need to adjust and we cannot find it in other countries, diverse countries, we will definitely have to fall back on the U.S.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
President Donald Trump is hinting at more sanctions on Russia, calling for direct peace talks between Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky.
It's very serious what I have in mind if I have to do it, but I want to see it end. I think that in many ways he's there. Sometimes he'll be there and Zelensky won't be there. It's like, who do we have today? I got to get them both at the same time. But I want to have it end.
It's cool out there. Temperatures dropping into the single digits in some areas overnight, including in London. Watch for a bit of fog developing. Waking up to 10 degrees. Winds will be light out of the west, but lots of sunshine to carry you through the morning. Thank you, Aaron, for this photo of Olivia and Blue out enjoying some pool time. I'll have your local forecast details and tracking a cold front for Thursday. Stay with us.
Julie Atchison joins me on the desk now. Julie, it's a bit of a colder one out there today. And what are we going to be seeing for the next few days?
Well, temperature is going to average close to where we are right now, so 22 to 23 degrees. We will see a bit of warming by the end of the forecast, but a cold front's coming in Thursday. So if you're enjoying the fall-like temperatures, we are expecting that as we move through the rest of the week. So today hitting 20 degrees. We should be at around 24 this time of year. So you're right, feels fresh out there. And with those overnight lows dropping off, we are definitely out of the heat and humidity. Fog developing overnight, single-digit low temperatures in Mount Forest, KW, and London. If you're near the lake, 11 to 12 degrees overnight. We've had some persistent showers today downwind of Lake Huron, off lake. Cool air flowing over Lake Huron. It's almost like a funnel that's coming down, and it's been plaguing parts of Huron and Perth County through the day. It'll ease off overnight, and the probability drops down to about a 30% chance. High pressure moving over the Great Lakes, sliding eastward for tomorrow. We have lots of sunshine in the forecast. Still some cool temperatures, so we could see a very, very isolated shower, but majority of the day should be mainly sunny. Cold front comes in Thursday. This one could bring some thunderstorms to the area. It also brings a reinforcing push of cool air, so fall-like temperatures heading into the holiday weekend. So this is the frontal boundary. Rainfall expected in advance of it, and rain will continue as we head into a Thursday evening, so showers. We're expecting conditions to clear up quite nicely for your Friday, and the holiday weekend is looking great. Temperature tomorrow afternoon, 23 degrees, mainly sunny conditions and winds light out of the west. As we take you through the 7-day, that rain on Thursday coming through with the cold front back into a mix of sun and cloud. On Friday, daytime highs around 22 degrees, so just a couple degrees shy of where we should be. I think when we go from one extreme to some cooler conditions and closer to normal, it definitely feels quite cool. Saturday, Sunday into holiday Monday, mix of sun and cloud, daytime highs again into the low 20s. But Tuesday, we're back to 25 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud, and we are seeing signs of warming temperatures as we head through midweek. Midwestern Ontario, the chance for showers dropping off tomorrow, so you will have some nice sunshine. As the area of high pressure builds overhead, the winds become light, and what that means is we don't have that flow coming off Lake Huron. Still could see a little bit of instability around, but we should get through the day with a nice mix of sun and cloud. Periods of rain expected Thursday with the cold front looking great for the holiday weekend, although temperatures will be cool in cottage country, 19 to 22 degrees. Overnight lows, though, nice and comfortable. Keep those windows open. We'll dip down between 10 and 11 degrees. Watch for fog overnight and first thing in the morning. Lauren, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. A husband is calling for justice after accusing an Ontario hospital of negligence following his wife dying from sepsis after giving birth to their third child. CTV's Adrian Gabriel spoke to the husband, who maintains his wife should have survived.
On June 19th, 40-year-old Ravinder Sidhu arrived here at Mississauga, Ontario's Credit Valley Hospital for the successful delivery of a healthy baby boy. Though just 4 days later, the mother of 3 was sadly dead. The initial cause of death, a Group A strep infection. Roughly 6 hours after the delivery of her newborn baby, Sidhu said she felt like she had hypothermia. Freezing cold, she was at times struggling to speak. Her temperature spiked, as did her white blood cell count and heart rate, and she was withering in pain. For 2 days, her condition deteriorated. Pleading for painkillers, her family said she was only given Advil and Tylenol. It wasn't until an infection appeared visible on her leg that she was taken to the ICU and administered an antibiotic. By then, her husband says it was too late.
By that point, she was already being eaten alive by the bacteria, and she was already suffering the worst pain. We begged for help, which never arrived. Now I learned that sepsis is a race against time, but doctors never started the clock. Had they listened to us, my wife would be still alive and she would be with her family. I really hope that no other family has to go through this.
Sidhu's family have filed a complaint with Ontario's Patients Ombudsman and with the hospital. In 2023, there were 4,600 cases of invasive Group A strep uncovered in Canada, a 40% increase from 2019.
When you see, those red flags, you have to intervene, right? And a lot of professionals are actually trained in the critical care and the ICU units, to deal with this, with these types of symptoms.
We asked the hospital if they're launching an official review into the specific standard of care given to Ravinder Sidhu. In an email, Credit Valley would only say that a review is part of their standard practice led by clinical experts. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
To a storm of excitement whipped up in the entertainment world today. Love is no longer a blank space for Taylor Swift. As Andrea Case reports, the superstar and Travis Kelce are tying the knot.
Travis Kelce proposed and Taylor Swift said yes. And fans in Toronto couldn't be happier.
Yes! Oh, they're engaged. They're engaged. Wait, actually? Oh my gosh.
Have a good life with her husband.
Some good advice. What advice would you give him with her?
Be nice.
One of the world's most famous couples announced their engagement on Instagram with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The ring, an old mine brilliant cut diamond from Kindred Lubeck. As for the dress she wore, by Ralph Lauren, already sold out. It was a 3-time Super Bowl winner, Travis Kelce, who pursued Swift more than 2 years ago.
So I was a little butthurt I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her, one with my number on it.
Eventually they met, Swift admitting she didn't know much about football.
I didn't know what a first down was.
I am forever thankful for you diving into the football world.
And she certainly did, creating a stir just entering the football stadium and NFL cameras constantly covering her every move in the Kelce family private box.
The latest status is I got to see her last week. That's the latest status right there. I'm going to keep my personal relationship personal.
She attended his games and he followed her on the Eras Tour, attending 14 concerts, even making an appearance in one of her London shows.
What I saw on that tour last year was pretty remarkable. It was something I could admire watching and take a lot of notes from.
Even President Donald Trump, when asked, had something to say on the news of the engagement.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person, so I wish them a lot of luck.
He hasn't always been so gracious about the pop star, posting, "I hate Taylor Swift," after she endorsed Kamala Harris for president. As for when the wedding will be, we need to calm down. In a previous New Heights podcast, Kelce had said that all of his friends get married in the summer, and he would not want to get married during the football season. So we'll have to wait and see. Andrea Case, CTV News.
That's our time tonight. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Lauren Stallone. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.